Glad to have you back. Now, 12 soldiers have been killed after gunmen attacked a military base in Beningwari local government area of Kaduna State.
Yes, the attacker struck at the time that the soldiers were in town to protect contractors working on a new road linking Zamfara and Kaduna states. In his condolence message, Kaduna State Governor Nazir El-Rufai prayed for the repose of the souls of the deceased and said banditry will be defeated.
All right, we have joining us now, still in the studio, of course, Chris Kende Wandu, and joining us with him is a public affairs analyst, Smart Akwejoyi. Good morning to you. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, and
thank you for still waiting.
Thank you very much.
On us, Chris. So let me start with you, Smart. Yeah. The latest killing of soldiers, our gallant soldiers in Kaduna State, how does that make you feel? Because they're supposed to be the most experienced when it comes to fighting war, really, and protecting the integrity of the country. But when they are depleted internally, what does that portend for a country as big as Nigeria? Well,
first, my condolence to the Nigerian military family, losing 12 of our soldiers to bandits. It's very, very sad.
That's a large number.
It's a large number. Even one. You cannot equate the life of a soldier with the life of 100 bandits, because the bandits, they are NFA. What do we mean by NFA? They have no future ambition. Because if you have a future ambition for your children, for your family, and even for yourself, you will not take into banditry. The life of a soldier, first, a soldier is protecting its nation or a nation, the family, and himself. And when they have to die sheepishly in the hand of these bandits, honestly saddens me. When I saw it first, when we were rejoicing about the Dapchi girls, also this came up, and it's a feeling that dampens one. But taking it out of what has happened, you see, because we know right now the North is so vulnerable to military and to militant banditry insurgency. We should have been proactive enough. But what I've felt there is because of the fact that, like I keep saying, that we are not doing enough in the terms of policing and security and securing the nation. And how do I say this? First, we are taking it to the extreme when we bring soldiers in to protect a facility or to protect some persons working to provide infrastructure. We are taking it to the extreme. It is not the duty of the army.
Yeah, when we bring in the military, is that not a sort of indictment on the police force?
That is exactly where I'm going. That in the first place, it is not supposed to be the function of the Nigerian army. Virtually everywhere in the country now, you have one operation this or operation that going on. It is perhaps because they felt the police are not capable, because they felt the police are overwhelmed with their job. Hence, they are bringing the military to supplement the police. It should not be. You see, most of the time when you travel abroad, you probably see the military maybe at the airports, maybe because they are going on a peace mission or returning from a peace mission. You probably see them, perhaps they've gone for a drill, and you see them in their convoy. You hardly see them the way we see military around now. But it has become a norm now that everywhere you go, you see military men walking out. It's an indictment on the security system of the nation. And this is where we also come to the fact that, looking at it from this angle, we look at it holistically, we look at, are even these military men adequately taken care of? Are they adequately catered for? You will be surprised now that even the family of those guys that have been lost, maybe the family has not been informed.
All right, Chris, let me quickly come in here now. From just building on what he just said, have you ever wondered, since the killing of these soldiers, that maybe the killers were not even bandits? For them to be able to kill 12 soldiers easily, Nigerian soldiers, we know that they are well trained. They are gallant soldiers who perform excellently well on international missions. And are you suspecting that there could be another problem in that particular region? Because It wasn't the first time that such things would happen, and that was why the soldiers were stationed there in the first place.
Yes. Once again, my condolences to the family of those that lost their lives, the Nigerian Army, the military, and the country at large. It's a very sad one for me. But let us not lose the fact that what we are having is not a conventional war. The military, the Nigerian Army, and the military were specifically trained for a particular mission, style. It's an engagement. What they are trained for is engagement in wars and warfare. Okay? But what we're having now is more of guerrilla war, where people just come, this guy just come, look at sub-target, hit, and disappear. That is what is happening. So I personally think that we should be doing more of intelligence military than the physical. Okay? We should be more proactive in our intelligence gathering. I think that is what is lacking, what are lacking presently. Okay? Right. Most of this, for example, if you, some of the stories that came in and we analyze that, we are told, or we read, that some people, villagers, have noticed this movement, and they went around and informed the Kaduna State government. Yes, in the paper, you just read the papers, that they were informed, and nothing was done about it. And these guys have been monitoring the movement of these guys, and when there was a kind of, our soldiers were taken by surprise. Unawares. Okay? And the minute they came, they overwhelmed. They were about, according to what we read, there were about 200 of them. How will a 12-man army team face a 200 or so marauders? It's difficult. So I think that we should do more of intelligence gathering so that we can be able to need most of these things in the board. That is my personal opinion.
All right, Chris. Well, call it, I mean, call them armed bandits, herdsmen, whatever. Yeah. Security is still a major issue in this country.
It is. It is. It is, especially in the north presently. We are talking of Fulani herdsmen. We are talking of banditry now. We are talking of castle rustlers. And we are talking of Boko Haram. That is the 4 major ones. Then talk less of the kidnappers, the armed robbers, and the rest of them. The Kaduna-Abuja road is one of the most dangerous in this country presently. It's to ply on. It's a very dangerous. And that's why I commend, to the largest extent, let us also give the police some kind of kudos. Because I know recently that the IRT team unit, led by ACP Abakari, has been doing a lot of jobs.
Well, how many Kiari do we have? Because I knew you were going to mention here.
Yes.
And I discussed this with a colleague just yesterday, that anytime you get the police performing at optimal level at the national level, it's always the IGP team headed by Abakari, every time. No,
you know the problem we have presently is that the police is totally overwhelmed. We're talking of a police force of about 400 or thereabout, and about 100, about less than half a million, and about 150,000 have been allocated to the VIPs. How many we protect? 180 million people. That is the problem we're having. And that is where I think, one, we need to recruit more. Recruiting more has its problem. How many people want to join the police force as it presently is? Many young men don't want to join the police force.
Many want to, but then how many figures do you even hear? The IGP just spoke about employing about 6,000
from where?
New officers would be employed soon.
That is why
6,000.
6,000 of a country of about 180 million. That is just too. Then also look at the other security outfits, the defense corps, the DSS, okay, and the rest of the way we are presently. They are overstretched. They are really overstretched. All right, and something has to be done immediately to arrest that situation.
Okay. All right, Smart. Well, you look at an instance where armed bandits or herdsmen come kill 12 soldiers with heavy weapons. Now you ask yourself, how do these ones get these weapons? Doesn't it show that there is some sort of compromise along the line?
First, you see, Yoruba have a saying that says that there is no way you will talk about the crime that you will not talk about those that ate that crime. It is sad that today, if we look at the entire harms in illegal hands, is perhaps more than what we have in the entire hands of the military and the police and all other paraphernalia put together. And you begin to ask, where does this arms get? How does the arm get into the country? They've not gotten. They've not flew in. They are being smuggled in. Do we have borders? Yes. If we have borders,
some are brought in through our customs.
Do we
some
have
are discovered?
Yeah. Do we have borders? Yes. If we have borders, do we have adequate check? If yes, then who are those people manning the borders? Because you find out that, look, I keep saying there is no time that we look at crime and you will not trace it to lack of welfare. You see, somebody will close his eye and say, look, let this thing go for goodness sake. Give me 1 million. Like the last time you had this testimony of one of these importers of illegal arm, he said he sought his way out with 1 million naira. How much is 1 million naira to go by? Give me 1 million naira in the morning, perhaps in the evening it's true, it's finished. The simple truth is that these people, they are so impoverished, they have looked at themselves that they must take care of themselves while they are in service. And because when they are out of service, nobody takes care of them. I know of somebody that served in the police after 35 years or whatever in the police, is up till about 2 years, is yet to get his entitlement and all these things put together. I know of also somebody that died in the police, that they were now, his colleagues were now trying to contribute money to take the cops home, because even what they will give them is not up to.
So there is a sense in which you are saying that that the government is not doing enough in terms of welfare.
Doing enough. They're not doing anything at all.
It's aiding corrupt, practices.
Of course, by conduct, they are. And you see, one of the reasons why somebody like me stood up and said, look, we must have a Buhari, because I did that because I know Buhari has a military background, and that he was he used to be a no-nonsense man, and that he was going to, at least if for once, stem this insecurity. But what have we had now? We've even had more of banditries, we've had more of kidnapping, we've had more of armed robbery. You cannot overwhelm, the police are overwhelmed. Okay. We have many of Abakari. There is this guy, Peter Ghana. I think it was Abakari 2IC when they were in Ikeja here. We have so many of these guys. Of course, Abakari, of course, is a good leader, and he knows how to motivate his officers. I know him very well. I'm so close with him, including Peter Ghana. When you get closer to these boys in the SARS, you will pity them. Sometimes for 3 days, they've not seen their family, they've not gone home. They don't even have an operational vehicle to go for an operation. They don't even have the finance to go investigate a crime. Also, the issue of synergy. We have all sort of military. There is no synergy among them. So if you're going to look at the issue of banditry, you don't just take it in isolation. You look at it, it must be holistic. And that is why I'm also advocating that we must for once get our security right. If we don't get our security right, we won't get this nation right.
Okay, yeah, let's talk about getting the security right. The president refused to sign the Peace Corps bill into law. And yes, we cannot shy away from it. This is the duty, the responsibility of the police, talking about securing the country internally. And then if you look at what went around, how the Dapchi schoolgirls were kidnapped, and then the military coming out to say that, yes, we left the place, but we handed over duly to the police, and then stories that the police officers fled. It's a reality of what is happening in the country now. Yeah. So talking about how overwhelmed they are on one side, how underfunded they are on the other side, the IGP talked about getting more than 1 trillion naira to reform the police, but nothing is being done about it. We're not hearing about the police funds that is supposed to be put in place and all that. But so what is the way forward? Because if you continue to look at the military, is the country going to be secure? Because they're supposed to protect the sovereignty of a nation.
The solution, the first solution is for us to have the state police. State police for now. We are back to that. We cannot shy away from that.
Yeah, but when you talk about state police, there are arguments that look, from what we've seen, even under this dispensation, where state governors would destroy people's homes just because they have, some sort of, disagreement or thereabout. There are arguments that, look, if you allow state police, are we not going to get to a situation where a governor would begin to station the police to even slap people on the roads?
And my answer to that, in Lagos, we already have something like a state police already. The neighborhood watch or cops, whatever you call it.
That cannot be equated to state police.
No.
That's probably community policing.
That's
probably community policing.
Yes, that is a starting point, for goodness sake. How long can we continue to shy away from this? People are getting killed on a daily basis.
Well, I'm not in support of state police.
Let me tell you, even the governors themselves have agreed to that. Yes. They agreed to that
for selfish reason.
Okay, let him land. Then you give us your own reason why you're against it.
Call it whatever you like. But we're having problem. The police are overwhelmed. The army are getting overwhelmed. The other arms of government, security officers are getting overwhelmed. And you are saying because one governor, will the governor be there forever? He's going to be there for not more than 8 years. But the problem we persist. What we need now is to have a holistic look at the problem at hand. These children were kidnapped and taken away for about a month. Who tells you that there will be another incident tomorrow? And we go back to this, go to every part of the Benue, Adamawa, Taraba, Plateau. It's moving down to Kogi State.
Yes.
We're in Kogi.
Yes.
For little by little, you are getting to FCT in the south, in the south, in the southwest. It is a problem we just have to. And when people say no, we don't want state police, for goodness, the same police, the same Nigerian police, and the military can be given a supervisory role to bring out a template under which these people can. The police cannot be everywhere.
Well, Chris, there is also the argument about funding. I mean, the cost of maintaining state police. Now, the state governors aren't able to pay salaries.
No,
and when you create state police and you are not able to pay their salaries, what is the consequence of that?
Do you know that?
Are you not going to turn people? Are we not going to have a situation where people, the police guys, begin to turn their guns at the citizens when their welfare is not properly taken care of?
Let me give you good instances. Presently, most of the operational vehicles being used by the police, who gives it to them? It's like the state government. You see, Lagos State government, the governor some time ago donated over 300 vehicles to RRS in Lagos.
But this is Lagos. This is Lagos.
No, that's some other state. No,
one state. Let him. Want to make it robust. Let him come and give his reasons.
You quickly mentioned the Peace Corps.
Yeah.
I am against the Peace Corps. Okay. If you are strong enough to be a security man, instead of going to enlist in the Peace Corps, let them provide a platform for you to either go to the Nigerian police, Nigerian army, or the civil defense. In the first place, again, like I keep talking about synergy.
But they don't employ. They're not recruiting.
They're not employing.
They rarely recruit.
Because they cannot employ because they have a very lean finance. And anytime they have to employ, they have to go. They have to probably get permission from the Police Service Commission to Mr. President that will look at the finance, that will look at the budget on hand. You see, when you look at our budgets, and when you look at what goes to the National Assembly alone, thank God for Shehu Sani that said, well, they received well over 13.5 million on running cost. For goodness sake, take 5 million of that running cost, put it to the police, it will employ at least, let's even say we want to increase their salary, it will probably give us 5 policemen. That is from somebody, just from one salary. And let us do it like that. We've not had that of, nobody has been courageous enough to tell us what the House of Rep member. And Peter Obi also said, if you know what the governors receive, that you will weep for the nation. So we don't even know. So you see, it is because we have not addressed this issue. If we have to address the issues, it is not even them now, it is we. We must say, look, enough is enough. We must have a reenactment of that, look, save Nigeria. We must save this Nigeria, because if we are not saving it, for goodness sake, nobody will save us.
How do you go about saving
How do we go about saving this Nigeria is that, look, the civil society, first the NLC, they failed us, but then we still have to drag them along. The civil society and the NLC must come and set up an agenda and say, look, this is what, let us reverse back.
Apart from Sarah, how many civil societies have come out since this dispensation to criticize any wrongdoing of the government?
Do you know why?
Why?
It is because most of them, they are either politicians in disguise, or perhaps their godfathers are in the party that is favoring that they are getting patronage from the government, so nobody is financial.
All right, Chris, is there a sense?
It's not easy. It does not come cheap.
Yeah.
Organizing a protest. I was part of the Ojeta protest. I know every day as I'm coming, I'll buy water, buy drinks, and give it out.
Just to distribute
to other persons.
Fellow protesters.
That is just, and that I was doing that from my own purse.
All right, Chris, he talked about synergy among the security agencies. Is there a sense in which we can say, that lack of synergy among the security agencies has also contributed to the security issues that we have within the northeastern region? A great example is what happened with the Dapchi, kidnap, story. When the story broke, the military said, look, we handed, security of the area to, the police. Yeah. The police, retorted and said, look, that is not true. And then there was also information that the girls, had been released. The parents, that's the aide to the governor of, the state, all right, and then only for them to realize again that it was all, forced. So is there a sense in which we can say that lack of synergy among the security agencies has also contributed?
Yes, totally, and that is a fact. There's no synergy between our security outfits. Each of them are suspicious of each other. So most often than not, they don't divulge information. Everybody wants to take the glory that I was the one that did it, just like what happens within the media or even social media. Everybody wants to be the one to break the news. Who would break the news? And some people don't even verify the information they're pushing out before breaking, so-called break and break. At the end of it, that you've broken so many heads with your breaking news and come to realize that you had issues and the rest of them. The problem we are having is that there's no synergy. And that is why I thought that was why the office of the NSA was created. National Security Advisor.
To coordinate.
He's supposed to be the coordinator of all the security outfits.
He's more of a politician.
The police, the army, the navy, the air force, the defense corps, all of them, they're supposed to drive some kind of, I don't know whether they even meet. So because most of the information that comes out, the police find it difficult trusting the DSS with information. The DSS find it difficult trusting the army with information. At the end of it all, you now realize that everybody is on his own and running. And in the course of doing that, you come to realize that at times there could be the sabotage theory here and there.
Okay.
Some people might be working to just undermine the and also at times you also realize that at times some of this crisis even could also be an internal thing. Some of our people, our security agents, might all even be involved because just like what you said, the army said we handed over this place to the police, and the police commissioner said no, we were never. We didn't even know when they withdrew, and the rest of them, we are in the water. And I expected the National Security Advisor to have taken a decisive action on that. Those involved in that lapses are supposed to have been probed, and those that were found culpable supposed to have been dismissed or dealt with immediately.
And when he didn't do that, who did you expect to take it up? Because at the end of the day, the
buck stops on the table of the president. It's Mr. President, for goodness sake.
All right, smart.
Chief.
The
is the president.
Well, the president
is in charge.
Well, the president, smart. The president has come out to say that look, security agencies need to improve their strategy and wipe up criminality.
How?
That's very apt, isn't it?
You see, sometimes when I listen to all this,
they need to improve on their strategy.
Sometimes when I look at the body language and some speech from Mr. President, sometimes I shake my head and say, I am not sure this is the Buhari I voted for. I'm not sure this is the Buhari I know. In the first place, I also listened during the Benue crisis. I listened to Dan Ali, the National Security Advisor. He made a speech, and honestly, I don't want to go into that speech because making that speech is enough to get him sacked. Honestly, making that speech enough. Also, the IG made an utterances. These are utterances that should not come from.
Of the PRO
and also the spokesperson of the PRO. So you find out that there is nobody that is responsible to take an action. Everybody behaves like God. The Office of National Security Advisor, look, it's an hot seat where when you sit down like this with your paraphernalia of staff, You are online 24 hours. Even when you are not there, when you are not there,
so what does that even,
they are feeding you information.
Smart. Because of time, we have just 4 minutes. What does that even tell you, really? Because you have a security, yes, national security advisor that is supposed to be advising the president on security.
He's not advising him.
Every time the president will come out to tell you that I wasn't aware, I didn't know the IGP didn't stay in Benue State, I didn't know this happened. He's more of a politician. Dan Ali is more of a politician. The national security advisor is more of a politician. He's not doing his job, and that is why we put every blame on Mr. President. If Mr. President had come up with an effective team, perhaps today he will be relaxing.
All right, Ted, smart. Your last words on this?
Yes, I think, first and foremost, the president needs to call all his security chiefs to a meeting, a closed-door meeting. Look them straight eyeball to eyeball. Guys, you are letting me down. Anyone that is not performing should be allowed to go.
Has he done anything to the IGP?
That is what I'm saying. I expected him to have taken certain action.
All right, Chris Kainde-Nwandu, social affairs commentator and journalist as well. We thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you.
And Smart Akwejoye, social affairs commentator. We thank you also for coming to share your thoughts with us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming.